The world is never going to be the same again.
I'm worried about the world.
The mass chaos and crises that there was in the world, it's going to be just like that now.
This is not an accident.
How long is it going to last? Longer than even for those of you that have some cash in the bank, way past your cash reserves.
Out of 100 people, 4 will get the message.
This thing isn't going to be over in a few weeks. This thing isn't going to be over in a few months.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As guys, this is going to be a jam-packed video filled with a lot of announcements and information. Plenty of explosive things to look forward to in the upcoming days, weeks, and months. But first, I have an announcement for all of you guys. I am back on the daily video schedule. The reason being is because I've been bred for this moment in history. Q4 2021 will be the explosive crypto bull run that we all expect. Will be the life-changing bull run we all expect. We went through the volatility in May. Remember, I told you about that 50% correction that did happen just a couple weeks after I told you about it. Now, I'm warning you of something massive coming again. We may not be able to pinpoint it perfectly, but the mental preparation for it will be powerful. Stay tuned for that, as you're going to see a different type of hustle from me in the days, weeks, and months to come. In addition, I will be much more active on TikTok. Please give me a follow, as we must get the children, the 15-year-old crypto investors on TikTok out of there and bring it over to the professionals, as that algorithm is extremely powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to that, I have a very exciting announcement. As Wednesday, I will be having an interview with the CEO of Propy, discussing real estate and crypto. Propy was a company that came out with the first real estate NFT transaction. They're one of my largest holdings in my portfolio. My initial entry point in Propy was 25 cents, currently available on BitTrue if you're interested. But aside from that, guys, they're very credible. Bringing together crypto and real estate is one of the most powerful combinations I've ever heard of. And if they succeed, they'll be a project that cannot be messed with. Stay tuned for that, as that is coming very soon. In addition, guys, something I also want all of you to be made aware of is that lecture 145 in my Udemy course is an emergency bull run warning for a crypto whose entry point is about to go away. Large returns on investment happen with cryptos at low entry points, and this entry point is almost gone. Please take a look and get involved if you're interested. Now, guys, I have to continue and point you to the crypto market, because this is a common theme, a common pattern that always happens, that lets you know we're about to make serious levels of capital. We see that Bitcoin has blown past $55,000, Ethereum at $3,500. The two major coins in the market are leading the way for the rest of the altcoins. Typically, Bitcoin goes, then Ethereum goes. Finally, altcoin season arrives. We saw that same pattern in March to May, and now we're seeing that happen yet again. I'm not the biggest fan of Bitcoin, as all of you know. But at the end of the day, when that thing rises, it's great for the whole space, and that can't go unnoticed. What's 100% factual, though, and what you all need to understand is, even if Bitcoin hits 100K, that's less than 2 times on your investment from right now. And right here we have XRP, our precious digital asset, our favorite digital asset, that I believe will hit a minimum price of $10, and that is my first profit-taking price. If that's the case, the ROI makes sense for XRP, especially when we continue to see developments like this occur. Ripple scores a major win in this SEC lawsuit case as the judge finds out if the SEC lied to the court. At the center of the debate is ex-SEC Director Will Hinman, who gave a famous speech in 2018 stating Ether is not a security, which prompted the price of Ether to launch. Ripple's legal team has recently detected descriptions from the SEC's private log, which suggest they may be highly relevant to the case. One in particular is an email chain concerning discussions with a third party, whom defendants understand received guidance from the SEC to analyze its digital asset under the framework set forth in Director Hinman's June 14, 2018 speech. They stated it was only a personal opinion, but in reality, they were acting as it was law. This is why it's so important that this case with Ripple is happening. This is for the entire space, not just the XRP community. The Ripple test will be fully implemented when it's all said and done. And watch as Ripple and XRP continue to dominate the SEC. The SEC better be calling us daddy very soon. Now guys, we have this to point out to all of you from our community, Attorney John Deaton. He's been attending Fox News for a long time, getting the word out for this community, and please give him a follow if you haven't already. Absolute beast of a man. And ladies and gentlemen, there are about 35,000 signatures for this SEC versus XRP community lawsuit right now. Very powerful. He pointed out that he remembered this name, Catherine Hahn's name, in the thousands of pages he reviewed related to the Ripple case. She signed for the Department of Justice on the Ripple FinCEN settlement in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, that's important because DAI also exposed this. Katie Hahn, partner at Andreessen Horowitz, which led the venture capital working group to get the Ethereum free pass. This is an important person, and here she is talking about compliance and Coinbase. This interview is important because it's going to apply with what we're about to talk about next. Please take a listen. Now guys, we have this to point out to all of you from our community, Attorney John Deaton. He's been attending Fox News for a long time, getting the word out for this community, and please give him a follow if you haven't already. Absolute beast of a man. And ladies and gentlemen, there are about 35,000 signatures for this SEC versus XRP community lawsuit right now. Very powerful. He pointed out that he remembered this name, Catherine Hahn's name, in the thousands of pages he reviewed related to the Ripple case. She signed for the Department of Justice on the Ripple FinCEN settlement in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, that's important because DAI also exposed this. Katie Hahn, partner at Andreessen Horowitz, which led the venture capital working group to get the Ethereum free pass. This is an important person, and here she is talking about compliance and Coinbase. This interview is important because it's going to apply with what we're about to talk about next. Please take a listen.
This SEC is a great example. They have a crypto czar, Val Stepanek. She's got a degree in engineering and computer science, and she is the head of all crypto things for the SEC. And she really understands the technology. And I think she's very balanced. I don't think she seeks to either promote nor curb it. I think she wants to see projects done in a lawful way. One of the things at Coinbase that we always say is responsible innovation. And Coinbase is a great example because when they were just starting out that company in San Francisco in 2012, they were told by their lawyers, big law firm, don't worry about getting those licenses, you don't need them. They fired those lawyers, and they said about the painful process of getting individual, in the United States, they have it hard there because They had to get 50 individual licenses from every state. And they did that because they thought if this is to go mainstream, we want to do this in a responsible way.
The revolution of blockchain is not going to happen from outside the system. It's going to happen from within the system. And governments aren't going to go away, and banks aren't going to go away. And some in the Bitcoin community come from that kind of anarchistic, libertarian view. I think one of the reasons why Ripple has been very successful is because we're working with the system. There's understandably concern about regulation and what does that mean for digital assets. From the get-go, Ripple has worked with regulators.
So you said that you guys are looking to incorporate and do this out of Switzerland, and you're purposely, you live in Canada, right?
Yes.
And so you're purposely not doing it in Canada, and you're purposely not doing it in the U.S.
A large part of that is regulatory reasons.
Okay.
So with Switzerland, they have a very long and established tradition of, first of all, very friendly banking laws. Also a tradition of stability. So it's not like some tiny tax haven that's going to turn against us the moment that the U.S. government wants them to.
Now, guys, we have over here an example of Ripple always trying to be compliant. And then when asked, Vitalik is saying he doesn't want to be in the U.S., he wants to be out of Switzerland due to the U.S. regulation and him not trying to comply. So why is it that Ether got the free pass? It was a lot of politics. It was a lot of financial incentive. Things like this really grind my gears, and that's why I've really grown to despise Ethereum. Ladies and gentlemen, Ether will continue to rise in value, and it will stay in the crypto space as one of the leaders into infinity and beyond. But I've been long looking for alternatives to see what can happen, what better tech can replace Ether. And later on in this video, we'll get further into that. But right here we have the ISO 20022 crypto list with XRP, Zinfin, Stellar, IOTA, and Algorand all compliant with the ISO 2002 standard. A crypto we don't speak about enough in this space is IOTA, and relative to its current entry point, I'd highly recommend all of you consider entering it. Wink, wink. Money is very easy to make when you have access to information. And this information right here is very important that all of you digest. Keep that in mind. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to play you another interview, and I know there's a lot of interviews being played here. But the reason is because they give a great deal of context to the corruption that goes on in the background. Joe Lubin had an interview, an arrogant one at that, discussing how no other crypto will replace Ether because Ether was doing what it was doing before regulations and before regulators were paying attention. So let me get this straight. Ether got a free pass and did the wrong thing. And now cryptos are trying to do the same thing Ether did. But because Ether had a leading advantage and financially incentivized politicians, wink wink, now they're fine, but everyone else isn't. It sounds like Ether is trying to cut everyone by the kneecaps, stifle innovation, while they can get it together with Ether 2.0. Ladies and gentlemen, I love free markets, but Ether wants to limit competition through regulation, even though they broke regulation. Please listen to this interview.
So Matteo Leibowitz, you guys probably are aware of the distribution quadrilemma. So he basically indicated that it's going to be incredibly difficult for a startup project to take the place of Ethereum or Bitcoin, just because we happened at a moment in time when securities regulators around the world were not watching, and we became sufficiently decentralized, and they're simply, what they have to do is sell tokens broadly and equitably. They need to raise enough money to build the project and continue the project. They need to build a community, incentivize growth in their community. And in order to do that, they pretty much have to get tokens in the hands of the community, and they have to promise that those tokens are going to appreciate by the agency of some group. And so by definition, that's a security. They're selling a security, so it's not going to be broad and equitable distribution. And it's going to be like climbing a cliff, I believe. Am I concerned? No, we just have a lot of building to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are a few people in crypto that I hate more than Tone Vase, but Joe Lubin may just be one of those people. He sounds so arrogant in that interview, and thank you to DAI Digital Asset Investor for playing this. This is an important point we all need to know. The biggest limitation to mass adoption of crypto has been Ether's foul play, in my opinion. They got in bed with the regulators. They painted this narrative that XRP is the banker's coin. Well, it looks like Ethereum is the US government's coin. Isn't that so ironic? Ladies and gentlemen, XRP does not deny what it is. Ether does. And it's safe to say that there's been a little bit of wink wink hush hush negotiations in the background to secure that Ether does not get a slap on the wrist, does not get a securities classification. Regardless, guys, these are all things we need to understand. This is the corruption that happens in the background. And in the meantime, we have to pay attention to this. The Biden administration wants crypto companies that issue stablecoins to become banks. It's unclear how it will enforce some of its recommendations. A potential weakness of a coming report from a group of senior regulators was made. This is a Wall Street Journal article, but what I want all of you to know is an executive order on crypto oversight may be on its way. This would include the Treasury, Commerce Department, National Science Foundation, and national security agencies. Could they be beginning to crack down on crypto? Fed Chair Jerome Powell stated they won't ban crypto, but I'm skeptical of everything coming from the bankers. I'm skeptical about everything. I don't think they'll ban crypto. I just think there will be a 70% crash in crypto at some point. I'm not calling for it right now. Not right now. But after this bull run is over, it is self-evident to me that this bubble will pop. Mass adoption will take place after regulation. But in the meantime, this is a speculative mania that we will make wealth from. We will take profits from. We will then make generational wealth from investing in immaculate entry points after the market crashes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the biggest bull on the planet. But profit taking will be executed. A black swan event is always something on my radar. The reason is, guys, a lot of things that a lot of people deemed as conspiracy from my part have been coming true. Did you guys see what happened with Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram? I wonder who called for that a long time ago. Let's see what happens next. Let's see what happens next. We see that a New York court dismissed half of class action plaintiffs' claims against Tether. People were saying, look, Tether has been cleared. I said, look at the 50% remaining. Tether is a factual fraud. And now the Biden administration is wanting crypto companies that issue stablecoins to become banks. This is harsh regulation. This is interesting to me. This was also shown to me by Crypto Quebec. Tether was being delisted at Netcoins, September 28th. Also interesting is that Market Watch posted stock market's volatile October history. means it's time to steady yourself for a black swan event. Now, guys, this is a headline they put out here. It's so interesting to me. The two worst US market crashes have occurred in October. I believe Robert Kiyosaki is also calling for one soon as well. And if that's the case, that could cause this crypto bull run to correct first and then take off. Guys, I know I just said a lot and may have sounded contradictory, so let's review. I personally believe this crypto bull run will continue into the end of Q4. I also believe that a black swan event in the immediate short term could cause a 70% crash. I don't know what it will be. I don't know when it'll happen. Could be Tether, could be the stock market, could be regulations, could be everything combined. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know that I know something's coming. The predictive programming has been instilled in us for a long time, and that's how I go about narrating this journey to all of you. One thing is for certain. We will be ready. We will take profits. If we see a crash before we take profits, we hold through. We are not perfect at timing this market. The people I trust in this market with my life, though, understand that it's up from here. So we're going to play it that way. But just be prepared for the downside scenario to hold through it. That's all I'm going to say. Brace for impact. It's time to get a little anxious and be on the edge of your seats, because this is the most interesting show on earth, and it's only getting more interesting day by day. Now guys, to cap off this video for today, let me start off by saying this. Joe Lubin from Ethereum is one of my least favorite people in crypto. But Hedera hashgraph is a project I recently just proposed to, and I believe Hedera will be larger than Ethereum when it's all said and done. I got a lot of pushback on this tweet, and I think this will age gracefully like a fine wine. Now guys, why do I believe this? I believe this for a number of reasons. Hedera hashgraph has had more transactions on it within the last year than Ethereum has had in its entire existence. Not only Ether, but I believe all the top 10 cryptos in existence right now. That cannot be understated. Hedera is trying to be an eco-friendly blockchain. And with the way the world's going, that's a powerful narrative that cannot be forgotten. Just a look at Hedera hashgraph and BBC News.
It might be a sustainable answer going forward. It's called Hedera Hashgraph. Now, Hedera uses a new blockchain alternative called hashgraph, which at times requires 5 million times less energy than Bitcoin. In contrast to blockchain, which constantly grows with new transactions, hashgraph doesn't have a chain of blocks and uses 2 algorithms simply instead to improve its overall efficiency. In their own words, Hedera are committed to carbon negative operations and have adopted sustainability as a core value.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me make this clear. When I saw Hedera being talked about on BBC News, I realized that the marketing for this ecosystem is going to begin ramping up. Remember, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank earns 1/3 of Immutable Holdings, Jordan Freed's company, who is a founding member of Hedera. Immutable Holdings owns NFT.com. NFTs on Hedera will be massive. We see what happened with Ether and Solana when it comes to NFTs. Solana has been exploding due to that, and I think Hedera will do the same thing. In addition, we see this Project New Dawn document, the working paper for a digital cash infrastructure for all by MTech. They talk about central bank digital currencies as digital cash. All the way at the end, they show Hedera hashgraph. Ladies and gentlemen, Hedera hashgraph, in my opinion, is going to be more massive than anyone expects. Owning Hedera now is like owning Ethereum at $40. People are asking me, is it too late for Hedera? Was it too late for Ether back at $40? Absolutely not. Hedera's done it right since day one. They're extremely decentralized, extremely quick, and extremely environmentally friendly. Not to mention, they're partnered with the Goliaths they need to be partnered with. Hedera's done it right from day one. And here's a powerful interview from their former president explaining more.
You know, I've looked at a lot of companies in this space and looked at them as an investor as well. And I would say you guys are at the very top in terms of, from the very beginning, being extra concerned about regulation. Extra concerned.
I mean, I think that's the case. It comes,
Why
right.
though? What made you so, I'm not saying it's not smart, but what made you so concerned about that?
I guess it comes from the top. Both Mance and Lehman, are both ex-military and are highly focused on following the rules and doing the right thing and acting in the most conservative way possible. And I think that is just driven everything we've done at the company. It's also made life harder for us. When we raised money from institutions, we didn't take money from jurisdictions where we felt regulation wasn't clear that we could do so. And that included like Japan, China, Russia. So the money we've raised, we took no money from any of those areas.
You took no money from China?
Nope. And we also didn't take syndicates. We actually refunded syndicates and shut 7 unauthorized syndicates down. So the fact we raised this $100 million without those markets is remarkable, I think is missed. And in this sale, which is something we have to, we're getting some heat in the community for, but not only is it accredited investors, but we decided to hold all investors to U.S. accreditation standards, which is not something typically done either. And that's actually enormously complicates it, but we think there are very valid reasons for doing that, which will become apparent kind of further down the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hedera's done it right since day one. Going the extra mile when no one even asked them to. They just did it. They're checking themselves, and it's things like that make HBAR accepted as a plugin for IBM's Hyperledger Fabric. It's one of those things you need to keep in mind. Stay vigilant and pay attention, guys. Hedera is coming for the top spot in the crypto space. And I think it's going to get there. One of the most undervalued coins on the planet right now. And El Toro Loco's fiance is going to get spicy on all of you very soon. A little birdie might have told me Q4 will be explosive for it. And all of you need to stay vigilant and pay attention. This is the greatest financial and technological revolution happening that only 0.1% of the planet is paying attention to. And you're in a space so secret, so hush-hush, that you have already become the new 1% with the information that all of you know. Don't get it twisted. Things are only ramping up from here. This is the Bearable Bull here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now, I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
I get 24 hours a day, just like Beyonce and Jay-Z. You get 24 hours a day, ladies and gentlemen. What do you do with your 24 hours? You need to get more information in our coaching program. All we do is drop content nonstop. And people are like, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. See, you don't even know what you don't know. How did you let me come from behind and clip you? Do you guys know the studies show the better we look, the more money we make? Which means your website should pass the eyeball test. Your truck should pass the eyeball test. Your people should pass the eyeball test. You should pass the eyeball test. Everybody in this room has a promised land somewhere, but you can't be stuck on the city you like. You gotta hear God and go to your promised land. Your promised land might be Utah. Your promised land might be Minnesota. Your promised land might be Wyoming. Hear me clearly. You better use your money to get information and access, and you better be flexible because a real shark is flexible. Can we stop fronting and get real about this thing? And if I can do it, you can do it. I knew nothing about life. I knew nothing about business, but I had the right mindset, and I learned it through sports. And y'all got to hear my story so you understand. I didn't even start on my college basketball team. I came off the bench. At the University of Minnesota, I came off the bench. But in my mind, you can bring me off the bench, but I'm an NBA ball player when you get through talking. When you get through, I'm an NBA ball player. And that's why I would walk around and say, you can't check me, you can't check me, you can't check me. If I was you, I would walk around every day and say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. I declare it right now, I'm worth millions, I'm worth millions. I will receive my salary right now, but I won't accept it as my value. So whatever you receive right now, receive it, but don't you accept it as your value. Because there's more out here for you if you change your mindset.